Welcome back to Kingdom Business Network. Today we have a very interesting subject in business that we are talking about. Definitely, I'm reminded till I come. That's also to say, do business till I come. So God is not against business. He wants us to do business. And you remember the three people that were given talents. One was given 5, another one was given 2, and another one was given 1. And the one who was given 1 did not bring any profit. The one who was given 5 brought profit. He brought another 5. The one who was given 2, he brought 2 more. That's 100% increase. And then the one who was given 1, he only brought what was given. And actually the master said he should have taken my money or my talent to the bankers, and then they can do business and bring me profit. Meaning God wants us and how we can help them grow. Welcome back. And before we went for break, we had a question, and that was, is it okay to borrow? And how should you borrow? What are the parameters for lending money? There is the Fuliza, there is the Shyrock, there is the Hasra Fund. All this is borrowing. So, Dr. Mungai, what would you say about borrowing?
What I would say about borrowing, Bishop, I'm not a finance expert, but at least from doing business, I know a number of things. For small businesses, one of the best borrowing is borrowing from friends and family, because that way there's no interest that is attracted. However, there's a level of business, might be slightly higher level, whereby you might need substantial much more money, where you have to go to the banks and ask for money. The beauty with taking a bank loan when you're starting a business is that they do not give you, or will rarely give you, a loan unless they have looked at a very good business plan. Which now leads me to the next issue, that if you have a very good business plan, then it means that you can actually be able to take it to the bank, and you're able to sell that to the bank, and they'll be able to give you a substantial amount of money. A lot of people have been financed by even venture capitalists because of the ideas that they have put on a business plan. Therefore, for somebody who wants to grow a business or to have a quite sizable business, it's always advisable to also write down your ideas in the form of a business plan, whereby you have a very clear vision, clear mission, a very good SWOT analysis, a very good marketing objectives and marketing strategies, and also a good financial projection. And you put it down on paper, and if it starts to flow and make sense, yes, or even a venture capitalist, and so long as they're able to buy you into your idea, then you're able to get financing. Apart from that, as I said, you can always try and get financing from friends and family, which comes at no interest.
Thank you, Bishop. So you're saying borrowing is okay. Put your plan on paper. Don't just say, I'm thinking, write it down. If you can't write, you can get somebody, there are people who can help you to write a proposal, a business plan, and all that. But again, is there bad, borrowing? Before we come to that, Dennis, do you think borrowing is okay? And have you ever borrowed? How did it go?
Thank you, Bishop. I think borrowing is good, even as Bishop Mungai is saying. But what would really be of essence is the integrity you have. Because we are talking about someone else's money, and they are entrusting your money to you and believing that with time, they agreed upon time that you had said the money will be back. I will be back. I have ever borrowed. Thank God with a company, with a bank that we had mentioned earlier. Don't want to repeat again. And the good thing is that the way I was borrowing, I was paying it back in bits through my salary, so it was being cut little by little. So I was able with time to grow that good relationship with the bank. Yeah, so I think it's a good thing.
So borrowing can lift you, can help you, because you can gain access. But what I'm hearing you people say is that borrow with a plan.
Yes.
Because there are people who borrow and they think, I have a lot of money. I am rich overnight. I'm a millionaire overnight. Not knowing that's not your money. The reason it's being called borrowed because it's not your money. You're not using your money. And so somebody will think, I have all the money. They go buy new furniture. They want to change their house. They want to buy. They go to the shop and buy. What would you say about borrowing? Is that good, or in Uganda you don't borrow?
Well, thank you so much. Well, I believe one of the reasons why this bank I talked about is succeeding so much is because, I mean, there are people who are borrowing, you know. So there are very many people who are actually borrowing in Uganda. And for me, I would approach it in this way. When you look at borrowing, I would believe that it's not bad as long as, like Dr. Francis said, you have a clear business plan and everything set in order. Because now that it is made available, some people may take it for granted that I can just simply, you know, get a loan somewhere, revamp the business and do a lot of things. But when you look at stories of different people who have been into borrowing, they will tell you they didn't meet to their terms in their first attempt to borrow. Most of them do not really pay back in full. Yes, so I would believe if you're a small business person, you're just starting out, first explore the resources that you have. You have some savings, you know, you can start with them. I love the fact that he told me that bank started with just 5,000. Can you imagine? Right now they are worth trillions, you know, dollars and things like that. I didn't know that. Now I'm going to add that in my notebook because I'm building actually a story. You know, so I am trying to show people that you do not need a lot to start. Start where you are. Maybe if you don't have enough savings, look at the immediate, the people around you, your family. You know, you can present to them because some of us may not be so, you know, mature enough to present a nice business plan to the banks, like Dr. Francis said, a nice plan, you know, you present to the bank manager and they just flash you with this money. They may not do that, but maybe you can do it with your relatives, your parents. Yeah, you discuss with them, this is my plan, this is how I've started. Can you help me with this amount of money? You understand. So I believe it can help you. Then when you grow to a bit, you have an experience. Now you have a story to tell. That now when you need bigger financing, by the time you approach the bank to get this big money, you at least have a story. Because even banks, they need ideas, they need a story. So if you don't have a story to tell, I doubt whether you'll get that money. You'll just be frustrated. But we always encourage people in our company. For example, we have a virtual mall, a digital mall. We tell people you don't need to have a physical location like you see the brick and mortar settings around because it's costly a bit. You can start virtually, start selling online. You get from home, you have a plan, you begin marketing, moving your product out there. I love the story that Bishop always, I mean, he percolates it always. Whenever he talks about it, there are very many ideas that come into me. He talks about this gentleman who was given talents, 1 talent, but he buried it. There are those who are given 2 talents, but they were able to multiply it. The one who was given 5 talents, he was able to multiply the 5. So it is important to start with the little that you have. Start selling online. I was waiting for that time when Bishop talks about digital, I mean, selling online, social media, and all other things, because I see young men, they're now, at least now learning that, you know, business is possible. And when you go online, you can really make it.
We'll come to digital, online marketing and business. Sure. But for now, tell us, have you ever borrowed?
Yes, I've ever borrowed.
Okay.
Myself.
How did it go? Did it help you?
It really helped me, but like I said, it was a disappointment, the person who gave me the money, because I didn't pay in full. It took me, we had agreed 3 months, but it took me a longer time, 6 months. So that's when I went back to the drawing board.
You borrowed from an individual?
Yes, I borrowed from an individual, you know, and it was a big sum of money. So I had to,
how much?
To take my
10
lessons.
million?
10 million, when you talk about 10 million, Bishop, in Uganda, it is too much.
How much did you borrow?
It was not a lot. It was about, when I talk about 1.5 million.
Ugandan, okay.
Ugandan money. It's about 50,000?
About 150,000.
Some people think I'm joking. You know, but just that little.
So if I come to Uganda with like 500,000 Kenya shilling,
yes,
I will be a millionaire overnight.
Oh my God.
I'll be a millionaire.
You'll be a millionaire, I'm telling you.
So how did it go? What happened? How come you could not pay within time?
Because I saw it was an easy way to get this money. So when I tried to invest it, buy things and then resell again, it really didn't come back like I'd expected. I had very many plans, but there was, of course, disappointments. So I learned how, I came down, I cut my budget, and then decided to go online. Yeah, decided to go online.
Okay.
Yes.
But eventually you paid the person.
Yes, I had to pay. Yes, I had to pay.
That's integrity.
Yes.
So let's talk about now bad. I think we're in agreement. It's okay to borrow.
Yes.
And many people have been helped to do projects, businesses, programs they could not have achieved, but because they were helped, they were boosted to through borrowing, and that's okay because money from the bank is like they're selling the money. They give you the money, bring it to us with the profit. But is there bad borrowing that you would advise people not to, Dr. Mungai?
Yes, one of the things that you need to do is to ensure that before you borrow, you have to have a very clear plan on how you're going to repay that money. And it also starts with what is the interest rate that you're going to be charged. Currently, a lot of banks are giving an interest rate at about, the interest is about 17%. Yeah, there's a time it was 13, now I think we're around 17%. So you need to have a proper calculation and ask yourself, if I borrow, let's say, 1 million shillings, and I have to pay 17%, in a year that's 100 and what? 170?
About
170,000 every year. So is my business able to generate enough money to repay whatever amount that I'm supposed to be paying on a monthly basis? If the answer is yes, then you can go ahead. If the answer is no, then don't take the loan. Again, you also have to also put in the risk element because you don't know whether tomorrow the interest rate will have moved from 17% to 20%. And after reading a lot of papers today, you find that currently in this country, a lot of businesses are defaulting on loans. Why? Because maybe they borrowed at 12%. They never anticipated that time performing that well. So you need to have to factor in the element of risk. What risk are you able to take? How big is your risk appetite? How resilient is your business? Is it going to be able to bounce back after a shock? Or is it going to collapse? So once you factor in all this, then you can then be able to determine how much to borrow and how you're going to repay it. So there is something like a bad borrowing, which is, in my case, I would call it reckless borrowing. Is whereby you've not factored in the risk, you've not factored in the interest rates and the changes that would come. You've not even factored in how resilient your business borrowing.
And also, would you, borrowing, like I said earlier, has been made so easy, where you can borrow through your phone. There's a household fund, there's Fuliza, and so many other platforms that people are borrowing. What kind of question? And is borrowing also addictive? Because I hear that people who are addicted to borrowing. They're not even borrowing for business. It's just because it's so easy. Now I can borrow 5,000, 2,000, 10,000, and they think I have a lot of money.
So borrowing are fraudulent borrowing. I would just call them fraudsters because I think we all know in this country, like when the Hustler Fund came in, it was a very good idea, and it's still a very good idea. Where you're supposed to start borrowing small amount, you repay, you are given more, and you continue like that. It's a very, very, very good model. However, our Kenyans are very creative. They saw a way of somebody uses a line, borrows money, throws it away. Gets another line, borrows, throws it away. So those are just fraudsters. But speaking to a serious business person, somebody who is in the kingdom, I believe that one of the virtues that you have is integrity. You have the value of integrity and you're serious about what you're doing. Then these platforms are excellent for your growth because then you can start small. You return the money. Don't act like what the others are doing, borrowing and then going to take alcohol or buy new sofa sets or whatever it is. Take that money back to the business. And you see, you need to understand that when you start a business, not every money that you make is profit. Because that's also another very important thing that affects people's borrowing and perception of money. That when you sell, let's say this cup at 100 shillings, somebody thinks that is the money is made, and maybe the profit is only 5 shillings. That's true. So there needs to be good literacy in terms of finances to understand what is my cost of doing business, what is the cost of the product, and what money am I, and that So when you're handling money, good financial discipline is very, very important.
That's true. And live within your means.
Exactly.
Don't think, well, I have borrowed 100,000, so I'm 100,000 richer. And that's not your money. The only money that you own is the profit you get from that loan. Maybe the profit is 20 or 30,000. Think I have a lot of money now, I can misuse it. Of course, there's no integrity, like you're saying, in a lot of people's lives, where you borrow using your phone, you throw away the card. You say, I lost my phone, I lost my card, you go get another one. Then, how long can you do that? And again, it takes a lot of energy also to lie and trying to live that kind of life. I think it helps, and it's more rewarding to be a man, to be a woman of integrity. If you're going to borrow, make sure you repay. And I don't know, Dennis, what do you think about all this?
I think the principle that the scripture talks about, never despise the days of a humble beginnings, and of course, being mentioned about borrowing, we just want to borrow money, and we don't want to use it in the small way. In the small way, we are thinking we can be able to grow with it until we become something huge. Of course, we have a picture in our minds that this is who we want to become, but of course, we cannot become overnight. So when we are getting to Fuliza, when we are getting to, Hustler Fund, or we are getting to any other body that lends money, we are getting money, yes, but we don't have that integrity of bringing back the money. So by the end of the day, what happens, your picture becomes deteriorated, because right now, what is happening with every bank, it's like all of them integrated. So you walk into this bank, and then you think they will help you, and then they tell you are blacklisted. And then you walk into this other institution, they are telling you you're blacklisted.
Know your customer.
Yes. So by the end of the day, then you don't have anyone who can be able to, to entrust you again. You lose your trust. Yeah.
I think integrity is key. And also, can people trust you? Like I said earlier, I was selling electronics. I would go with the 20,000. Somebody gives me a stock of 50,000 because they trusted me. Because I have a history of, when you go to the bank, when they talk about know your customer, they actually look at your history. Where are you? Who are you? Are you running away from another bank, coming to this one? And I think as we get deeper into issues of technology and everything being integrated, I think that will become much, much easier. That actually you go to people and they say, well, we can't lend you money because you will know from here you didn't pay, from here you didn't pay, even if it's a phone that you borrowed with. And now, I think earlier on you mentioned about borrowing from family, and I've had people say, well, I can't lend money to my family, to my brother, my sister, my son, whoever. Let them go to the bank, because, and the reason they will say is because I don't have the structure to, if they can't pay me, of course it's my brother, it's my cousin, I can't take them to court, I can't do this or the other. So I don't have the structure. The bank, once you can't pay their money, they will send the auctioneers. Now you can't send auctioneers to your brother. I mean, I don't know what we feel about the whole idea of borrowing from family. Enock.
Yes. Well, thank you so much. Well, when you look at borrowing, actually my stand is, before you go into borrowing, first make sure that you have exhausted all your means. Because when you go into borrowing from family, also integrity is key. Now, as Christians, you have to be sure and ready to pay back, and just be honest with, if you just need, start my business, I need your support. There are people who, a story, you are borrowing from your relative, but you are sure you're not going to pay. That's not right. As a believer, as a Christian, that's not right. You be honest. Now, if it is going to be, maybe now it's into borrowing, that is when you really have to be clear, have the plan, show these people what you are going to use the money for. And in case you have defaulted, it is okay. I believe it's okay. In life, you don't succeed always. Every time you attempt to things, you succeed always. We have seen banks making losses, you get. So you learn from your experience, yes, and then improve always. That's all I can say about that.
If things are not working, what you're saying, go back to the person.
Yes.
Instead of evading them, you used to visit them, now you don't visit them. Or you see them calling you, say, no, I can't answer. I know they are calling me for their money. So actually you destroy, and I think why most people avoid lending money to family is because it ends up now destroying the relationship.
Yes.
You know, the family bonding, the family unity and all that. I don't know what Dr. Mungai would say about this.
I would really agree with you that borrowing from family members is tricky in two ways. That one, the person giving you the money might not get it back. Yeah. And you've had those cases. However, when you go to a family member, there are three things that, in my opinion, they look at, or I would look at if it's a family member coming to me. So obviously the default is don't give the money. However, if the person has got a good track record, the second thing is integrity, and I don't want to belabor that we've talked about. How is this person a person of integrity? And then the third thing is that is going to be successful if those three things were not right. If there's an issue, no. If I see the idea is not making sense, then I will not rent to a family member.
But there are also some who will say, okay, we can see you, Dr. Mungai, you have the money. It's not like you don't have 20,000 or 100,000 to lend me. So they would judge you and say automatically you have refused, you have said no. So how do you deal with that kind of situation where somebody will now judge you and say, oh, they even now stop talking to you or calling you. He refused to lend me money to do business. My children don't have this or the other. How do you balance that, or how do you handle that?
For family members, I prefer a situation whereby if somebody is needy and he needs help, come and tell me, help me.
Okay.
So when you come to, but if you come to borrow for business, then it has to be strictly business. I have to actually analyze and see that does it meet my criteria? Because if I give you money and you don't return, if I give you money and you don't return, I lose.
It's a tricky balance.
It's a tricky balance.
Very tricky.
So I have to deal, it's business, let's keep it business.
I agree with you, and saying no is also somebody said no is also a holy word. There are situations where you also say no. Of course, somebody will not be very happy when you say no, and of course, there's somebody who would always expect. Oh, whenever they talk to the three people who are given talents, the Bible talks about each was given according to ability. Because you wonder why is one given 5, another one 2, another one 1. So what would you say about ability when you are going to invest? How do you weigh, how do you check, how do you assess how much or how capable you are when you're going to do business? Because there are people who, for lack of a better word, they bite too much and they end up getting frustrated.
Ability in the context that you put it is also goes with risk management. What is the appetite of risk that you are able to handle in terms of this ability has the kind of nature of business that you're doing and how well it's going. So the way you have that experience curve in terms of running that business forms part of your ability. The trainings that you have had in line of that particular business forms part of your ability. When you put all this, becomes your competencies. And those competencies is what I can equate to the biblical ability. And this is what starts to differentiate people. I might be I'm a marketer, he's a marketer. But our abilities are different. His skills, his experience, his learning handles his customers. So those forms those competencies which now creates his ability. Which is a biblical now ability.
Yeah, according to ability.
Exactly. Now that is now what differentiates all of us.
That's right.
And that's why you find that a number of things which are very different from me. So even biblically, find God gives people kulingarana according to their ability to do much with it. If I give so and so $5 according to the Bible, he's going to do a lot. But this one of $1, I even doubt his ability. But because I love him, let me give him.
I don't want to lose so much.
I don't want to lose him. Let me give him so that he doesn't blame me that I never gave him.
So actually, in the same context, we look at the person was given 5, they were faithful to bring another 5. That tells you their level of operation and their ability was also high. The one was given 2. So you wonder why, you know, we are not told why, but you wonder why is it the person, the person who was given 1 is the one who didn't bring anything, but the one was...
It's true. According to our abilities, we are given what we can be able to handle. It's only that now we have, because it's what lands us to something that we cannot be able to handle. Like for example, yes, you borrowed this much money, and the issue of ability, Dr. Francis mentioned, said this company started with 5,000. They knew that was what we could, but that is not the end thing. The end product of it will become huge one day, but there is a place of starting. And they began there, and they continued, of course, with resilience, and there is their input and everything that they were able to bring together to a point that they were able to grow. So start where you are. We earlier said, small things, they grow. Yes. You will grow. Yes.
Able to go through the process. When you see somebody, let's say they have built a business, a big business worth millions, and you want to get there overnight, I don't know what, Enock, you think about process when people are not able to wait, you know, to go through the process, and they want to jump from here all the way up there, and many people have been hurt through that.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. I'll be honest with you guys. I'm learning so much from this program, and I want to appreciate Bishop for bringing it. And I believe I pray or I hope that our members in Digital Adverts Limited, you are following this, because this is very, very key. There's so much we can extract from the kingdom capacity that we have here. When you talk about, I want to also borrow what Pastor Dennis said. It's, I think, competition. Because when you look at this gentleman, I will still go back to what Bishop, that story he talks about, Matthew 25, the talents. You know, this one was given 1 talent. He was not expected to get 5. The master did expect more. You know, the one who was given 2, the master did not come back to collect for 3 or 5. So for me, my understanding is maybe this person who had 1 talent was trying to compare. Why did you give the other one 2? Yeah, why didn't you also give me 2? Why did you give the other person 5? So it takes back us to where we started. Competition and copying and things. And it's so much today, I don't know why, so much everyone wants to be better than the other. They don't want to go back to the drawing board, appreciate what God has given us, because like Dr. Francis said, we are all talented differently. God has blessed us. The Bible says we are all blessed with spiritual blessings from the heavenly places, but our executions are totally different. They are totally different. So I believe we need to trust the process. With whatever you have, start small, then grow. Bishop always says, small things grow. Start small.
Welcome back. We are sorry for the short interruption, and we are thankful we are back. So we are wrapping up this program, Kingdom Process of Doing Business, and there are many people who are not able to wait, you know, allow themselves to go through this process step by step. And I think there's something Dr. Mungai was bringing up.
Thank you very much, viewers. What I was talking about is everything has a process. You can't climb a mountain from the top. You have to start from the bottom, take a step after the other, and slowly and meticulously you'll find yourself reaching higher and higher until you reach the summit of that mountain. In the same way is business. Business, you start from where you are, you start in a small way, it's an idea, you advance that idea, you go to the next stage, and in most cases you find an entrepreneur when he starts or she starts, he's all on his own. He's a HR manager, he's a marketing person, he's a finance person, he's everything and anything in that business. But a time comes as you start to grow the business, you now need extra hands, some people in marketing, some people in finance, and you start to scale your business. All this takes time, all this takes a process. You have to develop your people, you have to look for new opportunities for you to become big and all that. So you have to understand that business has a process. No one business is built overnight. That means that you have to be patient, you have to be resilient, you have to persevere, and you have to keep focus on the goal. Don't lose sight of where you're going. That's why you need to have very clear vision of where you're going. And then finally, you have to trust the process. Trust that if you do things correctly, you do the right thing, then you will slowly but surely get yourself to where you desire to be.
Wow, I like that. Trust the process. And I like what you said. You cannot climb a mountain starting from the top. You start all the way from down there. I think there's a popular saying, Rome was never built in a day. I don't know when they were building it, but it was all to say, leading to the same idea that when you're doing something big and great, you have to start somewhere. Actually, the Bible says, never despise the days of humble beginning. But again, it says you have to persevere, you have to endure, you have to allow yourself sometimes to, fall, wake up and all that. It's just like climbing a staircase. You don't jump from, number 1 to number 10. It is one step at a time, one step at a time. As you're building capacity, I don't know what, Dennis, in your parting shot in this area of process, what you'd say?
I think just talking about the process, one major thing is to really accept that you will make mistakes along the way. Accept those mistakes, because I really see people who really beat themselves so hard because they made a mistake, but actually in the actual sense, that mistake was meant to happen so that you learn and then you'll be able to get to the next level. So every mistake you make, continue, as you're saying, fall and then you stand up, fall and then you stand up. There's a point that will come, you'll be able to stand fully established.
Wow, that's so true, that if you make a mistake, you're not the first one, and you're not the last one. Yes. And probably it's not the first one you're making, and it's not the last one. So making mistakes, downfalls, it's part of the journey, it's part of the process. And because again, nobody knows everything, but everybody knows something. Enock, what are you hearing about process?
Sure. Process is very key. You have to trust the process. Bishop has quoted a saying that Rome was not built in one day, which is true. And then there's another gentleman who added, but they were laying stones every single day. So they were doing something about it every single day. Their challenges are going to come, the shortcomings are going to be there. But now, why did you start this business? Why did you start? Do you have faith? Some people believe start business casually, carnally, but as a believer, I believe if you have started, you are destined to succeed. God himself, when you look at the book of 3rd John, whereby the Bible says he wants us to prosper. It is his business, it is his passion that we prosper. Because if we prosper, we are able to support the kingdom, we are able to preach the gospel, we are able to stand strong and testify about what God has done. So I believe you don't have to feel like you are all on your own. We have God on our side. We have a bishop encouraging us every Sunday. We have different meetings at church. I also want to maybe encourage people don't to feel isolated. Feel isolated. Join a pack. Join a pack. People who can encourage you, people who can push you, people who can challenge you. The process. That is what is the process. The process is learning. Because if you do not learn, you cannot really maybe earn. You can't earn. You can't improve. So there is always room. There are errors. You can err, but you can always get better. That's what I can say.
Wow, thank you, Enock. And I like what you said. If you're building a big building, I don't know what is your dream in life to build, but it could be a building, but it could be a business, a corporation, a school, a ministry, whatever it is, family. You build one brick at a time. I like to watch people building. When you're building a house, they put one brick, then they put the cement, another one, another one, another one. Before you realize, the house is done. Yes. But some of us want to see a whole complete wall or a whole building. It doesn't start from there. It starts with the one brick, one stone after the other. And I think that's how to build a successful business. Dr. Mungai, maybe you can give us your parting shot. And we want to say from here, we really love you. We are praying for you. If you're thinking of a business, if you are already in business or maybe just started a small business, Well, through this program, we want to help you to succeed.
Thank you very much, Bishop. I'm so excited to speak to the person listening to me, my dear viewer. I know you're going to be able to be successful. You are here not by chance. This is a divine appointment that you listen to what we are discussing. And we'll be back hopefully next week on Thursday, same time. And we'll continue to equip you with business skills. We have a wealth of experience among ourselves, and we're going to get a lot of other people who have succeeded in business. We want you to succeed, and we are good role models in terms of success. In business, always look for a mentor, look for somebody who has done what you want to do, or who has succeeded more than yourself, or who have reached where you want to reach. And by listening to them, you'll be able to overcome a lot of things that might be you could have made as mistakes, but now you're already getting those learnings for free. May God bless you very much. I know you are going to be successful in your business.
Well, I like the idea of mentorship. And actually what we are doing here, we are also providing that, avenue where we are mentoring you in business. Through our mistakes, you can learn. Through what we have achieved, you can also learn. And I believe this will be very helpful. If you need prayer also for your business, you can send a message. You can text us through that number. If you're on Facebook, on YouTube, you can also send a message, interact with us. If you have any question about business, how you can grow your business, or even from what we have shared here, you can send a message. We'll be able to answer those questions, and we'll be able to interact with you more and more. But for now, we pray that it shall be well with you and your business. We'll be happy to hear your testimony one day that my business is succeeding, we are growing, we are making it, things are changing, and things are getting better and growing bigger. So thank you so much for now. The Lord bless you, keep you, and we'll see you soon. Come to church, and let's also have time to worship. When you come to church, we are right here along the superhighway. We are the Overcoming Faith Church, the House of Faith. And when you join us, we are committed to your success, and for sure you will succeed. God bless you for now, and see you next time.